Have you ever wondered how a narcissistic father can impact a daughter's life? Well, let's start by understanding what narcissism really is. It's a term that originates from Greek mythology, where the young Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection in a pool of water, staring at it for the remainder of his life. Today, we use it to describe a personality disorder characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy for others, and a need for excessive admiration. So imagine growing up with a father who exhibits these traits. The family dynamics can be incredibly challenging. Narcissistic fathers often dominate family life, making it all about their needs, their successes, their world. It's like living in a kingdom where the king cannot see beyond his own reflection. And what about the daughters in these families? They can often feel overshadowed, their achievements minimized, their feelings dismissed. It's like trying to shine in a world where the sun is always eclipsed. But how do we recognize these narcissistic behaviors? Well, it may start with an inflated sense of self-worth, where the father constantly talks about his achievements, often exaggerating or lying about them. He may lack empathy, showing little interest in his daughter's feelings or experiences. He might also require constant admiration, seeking compliments and getting angry when he doesn't receive them. A narcissistic father may also be manipulative, using guilt or fear to control his daughter. He might be envious of others, unable to celebrate his daughter's successes without feeling threatened. And let's not forget the sense of entitlement, where he expects special treatment and compliance with his expectations. Recognizing these signs is the first step towards understanding and navigating the complex dynamics at play. It's not about blaming or demonizing, but about understanding. Understanding the challenges, the emotions, the behaviors. And most importantly, understanding that you're not alone, and that there are ways to navigate life's lessons from a narcissistic father. So stay with us as we delve deeper into this journey of understanding and empowerment. Together, we can transform the trials of being a daughter of Narcissus into a path of growth and self-discovery. How can a daughter protect her emotional well-being when dealing with a narcissistic father? This question brings us to the heart of our second scene, establishing healthy boundaries. Boundaries serve as invisible lines that protect our emotional space. They're not walls to keep others out, but rather guidelines that help us maintain our emotional well-being. When dealing with a narcissistic father, these boundaries become even more vital. They allow us to separate our feelings from the destructive behaviors that might be directed towards us. Think of it this way. Imagine you're a castle. The walls of the castle are your emotional boundaries, protecting you from external harm. The narcissistic behaviors of a parent can be likened to a siege, constantly attacking the walls. But with sturdy boundaries in place, the castle remains unscathed. This brings us to the importance of maintaining a sense of self. It's easy to lose ourselves when dealing with a narcissistic parent. The constant barrage of criticism and manipulation can make us question our self-worth. But remember, you are not defined by someone else's perception of you. Your worth comes from within, not from the approval or disapproval of a narcissistic father. Now let's transition into the realm of interpersonal boundaries. These are the boundaries we set with other people in our lives. They're just as important as emotional boundaries, if not more so. Healthy boundaries in relationships allow us to protect ourselves from being taken advantage of. They empower us to stand up for ourselves and our needs. In the context of a relationship with a narcissistic father, interpersonal boundaries can help us maintain a healthy distance while still respecting the familial connection. Establishing boundaries isn't about cutting ties or creating conflict. It's about creating a space where you can be yourself without fear of criticism or manipulation. It's about learning to say no, setting limits, and making your emotional well-being a priority. Remember, you have the right to protect your emotional space. You have the right to be treated with respect and kindness. Establishing and maintaining boundaries is a critical step in navigating the challenges posed by a narcissistic father. Remember, boundaries are not selfish. They are a necessary component of self-care and personal growth. How can a woman become emotionally resilient in the face of narcissistic behaviors? This is a question that many individuals ask, and the answer lies in understanding and managing the emotional impact of a narcissistic father. Emotional resilience is not about ignoring or suppressing feelings, but rather about acknowledging them, understanding their roots, and learning how to navigate them effectively. Building emotional resilience starts with self-awareness. It's about recognizing the patterns of emotional response that are triggered by narcissistic behaviors. Once these patterns are identified, the next step is to learn how to manage these emotions in a healthy way. This may involve seeking support, practicing mindfulness, or using cognitive behavioral techniques to shift negative thought patterns. Remember, the goal is not to become immune to emotional pain, but to become stronger and more adaptable in the face of it. It's about learning to bounce back and continue moving forward, even when faced with difficult emotional challenges. Developing emotional resilience empowers women to thrive despite the challenges they may face. Why is self-compassion so important when dealing with a narcissistic father? This question is pivotal as we navigate the tumultuous waters left in the wake of a narcissistic parent. Self-compassion, dear friends, is our beacon of hope in this storm. It's the tender voice that whispers, "You are enough," even when the echoes of a narcissistic father's criticism still linger. Self-compassion is a salve for the wounds inflicted by a narcissistic parent. It allows us to care for ourselves, to acknowledge our pain, and most importantly, to recognize that our value isn't determined by someone else's approval, not even a parent's. It's easy to internalize the harsh judgments and unfulfilled expectations of a narcissistic father. But remember this, your worth is inherent. It's not something to be earned or lost. It's not a prize for meeting someone else's standards. Remember, embracing self-compassion is an integral part of your journey towards healing. So let's foster this self-compassion and continue on our path towards recovery and self-love. How can a woman break the cycle of being attracted to narcissistic relationships? This question often echoes in the minds of those who have experienced the influence of a narcissistic father. The journey towards healthier relationships may be challenging, but it is indeed possible and very rewarding. First, it's essential to reflect on the pattern of our past relationships. Often we might find ourselves drawn to people who mirror the characteristics of our narcissistic parent. This is not a coincidence. This pattern is a subconscious attempt to recreate our childhood environment in a bid to finally win the love and approval we craved from our narcissistic father. But this cycle of pursuing relationships with narcissistic individuals only leads us down a familiar path of emotional turmoil. The key to breaking this cycle lies in understanding and acknowledging the root of the pattern. It's about recognizing that our self-worth is not defined by a narcissistic person's approval, but by our own self-perception and the healthy, mutual respect present in our relationships. So how do we cultivate healthier relationships? Start by setting boundaries. Establish what behavior you will and won't tolerate in a relationship. This might seem daunting at first, but it's a crucial step towards ensuring your emotional well-being. Next, practice self-compassion. Understand that it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to walk away from relationships that don't serve your emotional needs. Be gentle with yourself during this process of growth and change. Finally, seek professional help if needed. Therapists and counselors trained in dealing with the effects of narcissistic abuse can provide you with the tools and strategies to navigate this journey successfully. Remember, breaking this cycle doesn't mean you'll never encounter a narcissistic individual again. It means you'll be better equipped to recognize the signs, protect your emotional well-being, and make choices that align with your own needs and values, rather than seeking validation from others. Breaking the cycle is not easy, but it is a crucial step towards fostering healthier relationships. Embrace this journey towards self-discovery and personal growth. You're worth it. What does it mean to be independent when you've grown up with a narcissistic father? It's a question that echoes in the hearts of many. Independence is more than just a state of being. It's a journey of self-discovery, of resilience, of strength. When we talk about independence, we're not just referring to the ability to stand on your own 2 feet. True independence is about cultivating a sense of self-reliance that goes beyond the physical. It's about nurturing an inner strength, a confidence that allows you to navigate life's challenges without being swayed by the opinions or actions of others. Growing up with a narcissistic father can often feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly seeking approval that's rarely given. It's a dance that can leave you feeling unsure of your own worth, questioning your own abilities. But here's the thing, your worth is not defined by anyone else's perception of you. It's defined by you, by your actions, by your character, by your resilience. Independence is about breaking free from the chains of approval and embracing your own journey. It's about recognizing that you have the power to shape your own destiny, to make your own choices. It's about understanding that you are enough, just as you are. Cultivating independence and self-reliance isn't always easy. It takes courage to step out of the shadow of a narcissistic father and into the light of your own autonomy. It takes resilience to withstand the waves of doubt that may come your way. But remember, you are stronger than you think. You have the ability to navigate life with confidence, to carve your own path. Independence doesn't mean you have to do it all on your own. It means having the confidence to ask for help when you need it, to lean on others when the going gets tough. It means knowing your worth and standing up for yourself even when it feels like the world is against you. Embracing independence is the final step in reclaiming your life from the shadow of a narcissistic father. It's about stepping into your power, owning your story, and navigating life with confidence and a sense of autonomy. It's about realizing that you are enough, just as you are. And most importantly, it's about understanding that you, and only you, have the power to define your worth.